This man had a fortune sitting in his hands. One phone call, one sale. That's all it would take. Debt's gone, family safe, threats gone, freedom. Instead, he does the one thing that could destroy everything. He bets it. Not once, not twice. Over and over at the worst possible moments with the most dangerous people watching. This is the story of a jeweler who couldn't stop gambling, even when gambling was the only thing standing between him and disaster. By the end, you'll be asking yourself the same question everyone around him asks. Why can't he just stop? Meet Howard, a jeweler in New York City's Diamond District. Sharp suits, smooth talk, always working an angle, always got a plan. On paper, he runs a thriving business. Behind the counter, he's drowning. He owes serious money to serious people. He's borrowing from one lender to pay off another, juggling debts like a man trying to keep 10 plates spinning at once. His marriage is hanging by a thread. He's living a double life with a much younger employee he's involved with. His kids barely see him. And underneath every single one of those problems is the real disease, an addiction to gambling that he refuses to admit even to himself. Howard isn't a victim of bad luck. Bad luck doesn't explain a man who wins big and immediately bets it all again. Howard is compulsive. Howard is a man who lights a match next to a gas leak and tells himself, this time it'll be different. We're about to watch him prove, again and again, that it never is. Then Howard gets his hands on something extraordinary. A rough, uncut black opal smuggled out of a mine in Ethiopia through a network of underground contacts. It's rare, it's beautiful. And once it hits auction, it's worth an absolute fortune. Enough to erase every debt Howard has and still walk away with money in the bank. This stone is Howard's exit. His way out of the hole he's dug for a decade. He even lines up the perfect buyer, a star NBA player who happens to walk into Howard's shop right as the opal arrives, and instantly becomes obsessed with it, drawn in by its size, its rarity, the almost mythical way Howard talks it up. Howard has the golden ticket sitting in a velvet box in his own store. So naturally, he doesn't cash it in. Instead of locking the stone away and closing a clean sale, Howard makes a fateful decision. He lets the opal leave the building. The basketball player wants to hold on to it, just for a bit, as a good luck charm before a huge game. Howard, ever the salesman, sees an opportunity instead of a risk and agrees. Meanwhile, back in Howard's actual life, the walls are closing in. The men he owes money to are done being patient. They're showing up at his store, cornering his employees, embarrassing him in front of customers. They follow him home. They confront him in front of his own family at his own front door. Howard has a literal fortune floating around out there in someone else's hands. And back at home, a countdown clock is ticking toward real physical violence if he doesn't pay up soon. Any rational person in this position does the obvious thing. Get the stone back immediately, sell it, pay everyone off, breathe again. Howard doesn't do the obvious thing. Howard never does. Instead, Howard sees an opportunity buried inside the chaos. He takes money that's supposed to go directly toward paying down his debts, money he cannot afford to risk, and places it on an enormous high-risk multi-game parlay bet. And to make it even riskier, part of that bet hinges on the same basketball star's performance in that night's game. If it hits, the payout is massive, enough to fix everything at once. The debts, the threats, the marriage, all of it, gone in one night. It's an insane risk stacked on top of an already insane situation. It's also exactly who Howard is. The bet is placed, the stone is still out of his hands, the original debts are still due, with interest, and now there's an entirely new deadline layered directly on top of the old one. Every single plate Howard has been spinning is about to come crashing down, all at the same time, all at once. This is where the walls really start closing in. The men Howard owes escalate from threats to action. They corner him in public. They humiliate him in front of people he cares about. They break into his life in ways that are impossible to ignore anymore, trashing property, making it violently clear that time is up. At home, his wife is done. Years of lies, absence, and financial recklessness have pushed her to her breaking point, and she finally tells him what he's refused to hear. It's over, and she's known it's been over for a long time. His mistress, meanwhile, is caught in the middle of a collapsing situation she didn't fully sign up for, trying to help him, trying to protect the money and the stone, getting pulled deeper into danger with every hour. His business is unraveling in real time. Staff are scared, customers are catching on that something is very wrong, and Howard, under threat, under pressure, out of good options, keeps doing the one thing that got him here in the first place. He keeps looking for the next angle, the next bet, the next big score that's supposedly right around the corner. He's not managing the chaos anymore. The chaos is managing him. With deadlines stacking up and threats becoming impossible to ignore, Howard scrambles to get the opal back from the basketball player before it's too late. What should be a simple errand turns into a chaotic, high-stakes chase through the city, deals falling through, associates double-crossing each other, tempers exploding, and Howard caught in the middle of it, trying to hold together a plan that's already coming apart at the seams. Every time it looks like Howard might catch a break, something else goes wrong. A deal sours, a double-cross surfaces, someone he trusted turns out not to be trustworthy at all. By the time the dust settles on this chapter, Howard is more exposed than ever, physically in danger, financially cornered, and completely out of easy paths forward. There's only one move left that might actually save him. Against all odds, it happens. The black opal goes to auction, and it sells for an enormous sum, a life-changing amount of money, more than enough to erase every debt, pay off every threat, and finally let Howard breathe. For one brief moment, Howard has exactly what he set out to get at the very beginning of the story. The money is real, it's in his hands. The nightmare could end right here, right now, with one responsible decision: pay the debts, save the marriage, save himself. Instead, Howard does it one more time. He looks at that enormous payout and sees not an ending, but a starting stack. One more bet, one more shot at multiplying it into something even bigger. Everyone around him is begging him to stop. He doesn't listen. He never does. Howard commits to the biggest, riskiest bet of the entire story. A massive parlay riding once again on the same basketball star, live in real time, during a pivotal game. This isn't a side bet anymore. This is nearly everything: the debts, the safety of his family, his own life, riding on a single outcome he has zero control over. And the men he owes money to aren't waiting patiently in the background anymore. They're right there in the building, watching, with their own fortunes now tied to whether Howard's bet hits or misses. Howard has a real choice in this moment. Walk away right now, a free man, debts paid, danger gone, or push every single chip back onto the table for one more roll of the dice. He chooses the bet. Of course he does. The game plays out in real time, and Howard is locked onto the screen, watching his entire future ride on the performance of a player he doesn't control, in a game he can't influence, with armed, furious men standing just a few feet away. Every possession is agony. Every basket is a heart attack. Every stoppage in play stretches the tension even further. This is the bet that either saves Howard's life completely or ends it. Around him, the danger in the room is no longer implied. It's standing right there, waiting to see how the numbers land. The game builds to its final seconds. Everything Howard has done across this entire story, every lie, every bet, every risk, every relationship he's burned, comes down to what happens in these final moments. I won't spell out exactly how the final moments unfold here, but I will tell you this: the outcome comes with a twist that recontextualizes everything Howard thought he'd already won. For a fleeting instant, it looks like Howard might have actually pulled it off, that the impossible bet might actually be the thing that saves him. What happens immediately after that moment is the gut punch this entire story has been building toward from the very first scene. It's sudden, it's brutal, and it answers, once and for all, the question this whole recap has been circling. Can a man like Howard ever actually walk away, or was he always going to push his luck one bet too far? Watch it yourself to see exactly how it lands, because it's the kind of ending that sits with you long after the screen cuts to black. What makes this story so gripping isn't just the heist-like chase for the stone or the high-stakes bets. It's Howard himself. He's not a criminal mastermind. He's not even particularly unlucky. He's a man addicted to the feeling of having everything on the line. A man who, even when handed a clean escape, can't stop himself from lighting one more fuse. Every relationship in his life, his wife, his mistress, his family, his business partners, the people who trust him, gets pulled into the blast radius of that addiction. Nobody around Howard gets to just live their life. They all get swept into his chaos, whether they want to be there or not. That's the real story underneath all the bets and all the chases. A portrait of a man who can't stop chasing the next win, even when he's already standing on top of everything he needs. That's Uncut Gems, a story about greed, addiction, and a man who had everything he needed to walk away clean, and still couldn't stop pushing his luck. If you like this recap, subscribe for more stories like this one. And let me know in the comments, would you have taken the final bet or walked away?